Don't look now, but coyotes are on the rise and they're proving hard to get rid of. A new study, in fact, from the University of Georgia finds that even when coyotes are removed from an area, their populations quickly rebound, sometimes even stronger than they were before. Researchers say that could change the way or how wildlife agencies and neighborhoods approach management going forward. Joining us now is UGA Postdoctoral Research Associate Heather Gaya, one of the lead authors on this study. Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. Your research found that coyotes rebound very quickly, even after large-scale amounts of them are removed. What makes them so resilient compared to other predators?
Yeah, coyotes are just super adaptable to the way that they interact with their environment. So traditionally, we would have had something like wolves in the area, and they tend to be very kind of aligned in their behavior, and they stick with that one kind of behavior. But coyotes can eat a really wide variety of prey sources, so they're very resilient to when one prey source goes away, they just move on straight to another one. They also have a very hierarchical kind of behavior structure. So when you remove coyotes, just sort of by taking pot shots at a couple of coyotes, you're accidentally, what you might do is remove the alphas of the group, and then suddenly a ton of coyotes are reproducing instead of just one or two coyotes reproducing as you would have in a stable population. So you kind of have this population of both really adaptable to the environment and then also behaviorally really adaptable to being removed from the environment. And they can also reproduce more when they're under stress. So they are very good at coming back when you try and get rid of them.
Wow. All right. So we've seen, we have reports that they were seen in Buckhead all the way to Stone Mountain. Are these animals now a permanent resident here in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta?
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that basically coyotes are just the new normal, something we just have to get used to. So traditionally we would have had wolves in this area and maybe some cougars, but we removed those a while ago. And then coyotes have been here since the early 90s, and they've really just taken up residence in all of these areas. We know that they're around the Atlanta area. They're using those sort of green spaces, even between kind of highway buffers and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the good news is that they're really good at avoiding people, and they really don't want to interact with people as much as they can. So we found that they're actually changing their behavior to interact with people as little as possible, so that they can avoid us as much as they can.
I was going to say, wait a minute. Now, obviously, people are seeing them because it's being reported more and more. And if there's more of them, how likely are we to get into some kind of interaction with a coyote?
Yeah, so I think that we're going to start seeing more people are going to just start seeing coyotes present in their area. So just seeing them run by, maybe you'll see them in your yard or just kind of on your commute to work. But in terms of negative interactions, so actually having an aggressive interaction with a coyote, those are very rare. And those we can still remove individual coyotes that might be causing problems. But on the whole, they really are pretty much like skittish dogs. So they really don't like anything new or novel. And so if there's something that's a little bit they're unsure about, they're just going to avoid the area as much as they can. So I don't think we're going to be seeing too many negative interactions, but maybe we should consider keeping our cats inside and our small dogs inside at night specifically.
Yeah, I was going to say, now you said they are adaptable. So, would they just adapt to human life? To us, meaning that they kind of just see us and just kind of go away or whatever, like deer or whatever else is kind of in our area that we're used to seeing?
Yeah. So pretty much all of the research so far kind of seems to indicate that overall, coyotes will kind of take stock of what's going on, and if you have a sort of a routine and a habitat and they live in your area, they're going to try and avoid you. They're going to figure out, okay, you're active at these times, I'm going to be active at a very different time. But they will, if you're leaving out any kind of food, so if you're trying to supplement, you feed your deer, if you're trying to, even bird feeders, things like that, coyotes, a large part of their diet is actually not meat. It's just like berries and fruit and trash. They'll eat like crickets. They're eating all sorts of things. So if you're leaving food out in your yard, they're going to come and take advantage of that for sure.
You talked about them saying, okay, you're active at this particular time, we're going to be active at this particular time. What are those times a year where they become a little bit more active, or would they adapt to just being more active at night?
Yeah, so they definitely have adapted in terms of the timing during the day. So they definitely, when humans are active, they're trying to avoid that. So we would refer to them generally as crepuscular, meaning that they're most active in the evening and most active in the morning, but not really in between. So they're tending to become a lot more nocturnal to avoid humans overall. So they're definitely trying to just stay away from us as much as possible. But seasonally, You might start to see a little bit more activity in the summer when they're having their pups. So, they'll kind of be sticking around in the same areas. Their home ranges will really shrink down to just kind of maintaining their pups and staying near those areas. Whereas in the wintertime, they might be kind of roaming a little bit farther, exploring new territories, looking for possible mates and things like that.
So we could possibly see them going up into the suburbs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, a coyote home range is something that can really vary, but it can be, they can move over 50 miles in a night. Like that's very easy for them. We know genetically in terms of their populations that the population size of a coyote, like where if you were to circle and say this is a population, is larger than the state of South Carolina. So they're really they're over across the whole Southeast. You could say maybe that's a population of coyotes. So they're moving all over the place. The ones you see today might not be the same ones you see tomorrow. So just very, very large ranges, happily moving around. And the fact that they've been doing this for the past, 30 years or so, and there's really been relatively little issues, should give us some comfort, I think, about what the future is going to look like.
Yeah. Okay, Heather, you're telling us we had to get along with these gyro spiders. Now you're saying you got to get along with these coyotes. I guess we got to do it. Heather, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.